Let's see here. Look at this big steam thing. Everything bad. Dude, my friend built all this, removed all this stuff, resurrected all this stuff. Jonathan Winnens, he's got a YouTube channel, Jonathan Winnens. You can actually watch the progression as this all came to be. I've got a bunch of shorts about this stuff I'm putting up too, so it gets out a little bit. But this stuff needs to be seen. This right here is history. Sears and Roebuck. I did a bunch of shorts on these. There's a small boiler right there. There's a 10-horse Sears and Roebuck. I don't know what horsepower this steam engine is, but I was watching him rebuild this thing. He built remanufactured a bunch of stuff, made all the bearings, the rods. He pours his own bearings, Babbitt's. You can, like I say, Jonathan Winnens on YouTube. You can actually watch him do all this stuff. There's a vintage forklift. I don't know what year it is, but look at all the insulators that he resurrected and saved. He built all these buildings, about all by himself, by the way, using that big old crane. Some resurrected pole stuff that he had found from train stuff. An old dentist office air compressor, which I have one of these. This is a light plant, a Delco light plant, and I actually just purchased that from him today. So that's going to be in our collection, and we will do our best to get it running. Another big, huge steam engine that he built all this stuff. He made all of the flooring. He did all the brickwork. It just goes on. All these motors right here run. And like I say, if you go to Jonathan Winnens' YouTube, he's got a big channel. You can actually watch these things run. And watching the steam just roll is just absolutely amazing. This is a steam turbine. It's a turbine. Steam passes through this and spins this turbine, and it makes extremely high RPMs. It's wild how that works. He's made sort of a really nice area to just sort of hang out. These are some really cool. I can't remember what these things are, but they're not Fords. This was actually resurrected from Aderville. If anybody knows Ken Ader, this engine was resurrected from Ken Ader. This big old engine over here was resurrected from Aderville in pieces and put back together. Built all this stuff. He's still in the works, but he's a busy man. So we'll walk around a little bit more and check out some more. So if you got, this is a playground for anybody that loves mechanical. That's another old school. That's a water pump right there. It's a big water pump. That's what that would have been for. This is another really old vintage generator. AC voltage. Oh, I'm going to show you a big generator. This is another recent purchase that I just made. This right here. It's a Leroy Powerhead twin cylinder, probably a 15 horse, 10 horse twin cylinder Powerhead. I purchased this today from him. We're going to get this running on this channel here. A really neat or it's a John Deere 40 series. I've got one of these. It's a later. Mine's a 53, which is a little bit longer. Let me show you some really awesome, I mean, just absolutely amazing stuff that he's put together over the years as he's been building all this stuff. This is a cedar shake cutter that he did a YouTube video on it. He just recently purchased. Got a lot of work to get it going. This is a tobacco stick cutter right here that runs. All this runs off steam. You power it up off of oil, anything really. You can put a belt on this here. That power head would have done it. A really neat old, what is this thing? It's a Ottawa, or no, I don't know. He told me what it was and I can't remember. My bad. But it's a nice little hit and miss motor. Beautiful magneto. Let's see here. A really probably one of the very first oscillating steam engines, meaning that it was facilitated for, I think this dates back to 1850. So you're seeing a lot of railroad stuff right here. But 1850 was when this thing was built, somewhere in the 1850s. Very first of the first, when industrialization started to become a thing. If you were really rich, super rich, you would have one of these under your big mansion out in the middle of the woods. Electricity was not discovered, but it was facilitated because it's been around us forever, because electrons always existed. But power infrastructure didn't exist back then. Electrical stuff did, and so if you were really rich and you wanted, this is an AC generator. This thing can make 120 volts AC. I think it does 17,000 watts. It's a big generator. So this would have been able to run a house and then some, maybe even a small factory. This thing runs off steam. Absolutely amazing unit. The boiler for it, I think, is this one right here. This boiler was pulled out from under the house that this was found in, out in the middle of the woods. Jonathan is, I don't know where he finds all this stuff, but this was under a house that was being stripped down because it was old and dilapidated, and it was, you know, falling to pieces. But the house was very, very old, and it was huge. And this was in the basement. This was as well, and this would have been used to power the house and other surroundings. So whoever had this family was rich, and they could. This would, you know. Anyhow, this is the control panel that was under that very same house, and you're seeing all the original functional gauges. This functions. Your amperage gauge works. You've got your main power switch, and what he had done is just hooked it up enough, and he ran a bunch of Christmas lights this past Christmas on this. I want to take and show you to some of the very first batteries that you'll ever see. There's another really awesome steam engine that was, I don't know a lot about it because Jonathan tells me all this stuff, but it's so hard to keep up. But look at all these really cool. That would have been like a I don't know, a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff. Just stuff that he finds and he puts up so it's not Frick. That's a manufacturing company. Okay, here's some probably some of the oldest batteries you'd ever see. Here's what these are. These are batteries. I did some shorts on these about really old batteries. They would have been in glass jars. The glass, of course, has been broken, so all you have left are the plates. This is your what they would call your nickel, and then your steel, and there would have been some lead and stuff in there, and some acid and whatnot. But let me go over to a really big, huge motor. Big old motor here. This is what Jonathan used to split wood. This is a wood splitter. Runs off of the steam engine over here. There's a wood splitter. In case you didn't notice that over here. But here's the steam engine that powers it. There's the belt that... big steam engine, by the way. This is your oilers. I guess this is some kind of dampener, but the belt, he just laid, this is a fresh build. He hasn't ran this since, but you can see he's got to do a little trimming on the tin. But this thing has been used, and it makes an oscillator that you'd hold the blocks underneath it, and it just splits the wood, and then you lay down, and then you keep your boilers going. Let's go over here and check out the really huge Fairbanks Morse single cylinder semi-diesel, they would call this. This motor's freed up. It's got a 10-foot or 15-foot flywheel that goes on it, so this would have been normally mounted on a big, huge concrete pedestal. And your exhaust is here. Your intake is somewhere else. All right, here, I think it's under there. I think that's where it pulls the air in, because these are 2 cycles, so these cylinders are ported. And this would have been used to power a big factory. There's a twin cylinder one. I'll run across real quick and try to make it quick. These are your oilers, but this motor's freed up. It has potential to run. As a matter of fact, Jonathan Winnens on his YouTube channel eventually will get to this. So you would heat, there'd be a burner up here that sits underneath that little thing. A burner would heat this head up so that it's like a oil, or what do you call it? The oilers, whatever they call it, where they heat up the bulb on the head, like the Lance Bulldog tractor diesels. You see, they heat the head up, and then that gets it able to burn off the diesel or the motor, the oil that would have been used. Okay, let's run over here and try to see the twin cylinder one. We've got to run. All right, here we go. This place is awesome. I can stay out here all day. Okay, here we go. Let's see. There's the flywheel to one of those steam engines. That's the flywheel to that big Morris Fairbanks motor. Those are the flywheels for the Morris Fairbanks, aren't they?
Two there for the single, and that was for the 2 cylinder.
Okay, yep. Those 2 are for that single I just shown you over there, and this is the twin cylinder, and it's kind of stuck. It needs to be tore down and done, but it was resurrected from where it was sitting out in the middle of the woods. So a history in the making right there, I guess you could say. Yeah. There's another single cylinder over there that's stuck, but could be got going. With 2, you make 1. So, yep.